All right, everybody. Welcome to another broadcast of the Infinity Project, Infinity Solutions. And today, I have Felix and Darren with me, and we're going to be working through an idea that I've been just compelled to make. All right, and we're going to make something similar to this infinity loop that we have, but it's going to be the 3. All right, I call it the Trinfinity. We're going to make it so that it's in line like a fuse. All right, but I'm feeling compelled to add this to my truck design. Okay, the piece that we had made while we were in California. Okay, and these tubes right here are so I can put different kinds of GANs inside of this and still be down towards the core inside of this nano-coated copper bowl that I have. Inside of here is resin, okay, and a liquid core with caustic and all sorts of goodies inside. You can see the gold flake. There's fruit inside of here, fruit slices. I think I've got a piece of orange, some kiwi. I tried to put some banana in there, I think. So I'm utilizing the power of nature inside of here rather than trying to use just the means of GANs or, trying to recreate what nature is already providing. All right, that's really what it boils down to. This is a food reactor. This is whatever kind of reactor. I'm going to be making some food GANs tubes that'll fit inside of here. All right, and when they're subjected to the energy field of this, then you can put your hand over it and you would feel like you ate something, because you can put CO2 and CH3 and you can put the amino acids, and you can do whatever else you need and put it all here within this field. Okay, this is the reactor that we made in California. This reactor's name is Charlie. All right, and Charlie is a feminine energy, very caring, but also can be kind of vicious at times, like shut my truck off completely for no apparent reason. So just be happy with that. But I'm not going to be working with this side of this. All right, this one is already complete. I'm going back to the adapter that I used to plug it into the power inverter. Okay, or in this case, you can plug it directly into the wall. All right, just need to be alternating current. That was what we wanted here. Okay, my interest is now this part that we have spliced into it that you want to plug your maggrav unit in. All right. In previous discussions, you'll see that there's only one plug-in, okay, on there. Okay, you guys just, maybe you've just used only one plug-in, or you thought you could only use one. And at that point, you can plug 3 of these units or 3 plug-in units into this same cord, right? Because they're still following the same circuit, the same plasma circuit. Okay, so you're just combining them, and when you do, you're putting 3 plasma fields in one. Okay, keep that in mind, guys. Understand what you're doing when you're plugging in units. Okay. This right here is just a little like a bathroom LED nightlight. Okay, it's always on type thing. It's just an LED light that helps keep the flow going, and we know that everything's on. What I'm going to be doing is working with this end, okay, and I'm going to be once again splicing into the hot wire, okay, which we know in America, when you're looking at these, the slots, okay, the smaller slot is the hot wire. right? So if you were to look and follow the wire down, you see the smaller slots are all right here on this side. So the wire that's on that side is 99% of the time the wire that you need, okay? So you don't have to go cutting anything else open, all right? So you're going to follow this slot all the way down into the wire, okay? So now you know that the right side of this wire is the one that you need, okay? And you can take a pen. I do it. I don't use dry erase because it wipes off. But I'll take a marker and I'll mark the wire that I need. So I don't have to think about it, okay? And now it's just there. Okay, that's the wire I want to cut. Now, we're doing the same thing that we did here, all right, and this one, and previous, but we're going to do it to this wire instead, all right, also, not instead, okay? And I need to, I'm doing this to test it, for one, all right? I want to see if there's an extra energy field that's going to come off of this with the infinity loop, okay? Even if I just plugged a light into the end of this, okay? Or actually into this one, if I just plugged a light in and plugged the maggrav unit or this one into it, I want to know if that's going to give off another field, okay? My answer is already yes, but you guys require proof. And I believe that if this is positioned right in any home environment, like if you were to, I don't know, pull out one of your wall plugs or all of your wall plugs and make a snip in it and connect an infinity loop on either, you know, in the center between those and then let it be, I think you'd be pretty good. But we got to test that out, and I don't want people just cutting wires from the house. So I'll cut wires in my shed here. Deal? If it burns down, I'm pretty sure you guys will help me buy a new one somewhere. It's only like $5 grand. I will be right back. My coffee is ready. 30 seconds. Man, it's bitterly cold out tonight. I'm contemplating putting this heater underneath my table, honestly. All right. What we're going to start out doing, get this out of the way for a minute. All right. What are we doing here, Mike? What are we doing? 3, 6, or 9? 3, 6, or 9? Three it is. What are you doing? Let me create, guys. Don't try to copy me at the moment. All right. When I figure this out, I'll yeah, no worries, Felix. Sorry I missed your messages. No worries. This is simple shit. You'll learn it right now, okay? Because what I'm teaching right now, it's the same basic stuff that you're going to start with every single time you make an infinity device. So, you know, everything you add to it, that's all your creativity. So, let's see if I can do this right and get you guys some good camera view here. Doesn't have to be perfect. All right, but this is galvanized. In order to make this device today, okay, these are the tools that you're going to need. You need 18 gauge copper wire. You're going to need galvanized 18 gauge copper wire if you want. Needle nose pliers, a drill, your meter, okay. And then this device, that's right. And then this, okay? The one that you made for your MagGrav unit. All right, if you followed my instructions and you have this little pigtail that's tied to it, okay? Right there. Then we're going to be working with the pigtail a little bit later, and that's where the green mark comes in, okay? So that's what we're working with here. Need a better dust set. I command the water I just drank to bring me knowledge. All right. So what I've done so far is I've just cut 2 pieces, okay? The copper wire and the galvanized steel wire. That's all I've done here, okay? I'm going to take these 2, I'm going to put this end into the drill, all right? Just like any other infinity loop that we've done, I'm using 2 wires instead. I'm using 3 wires instead. Hold on. I'm going to use a copper, an iron, and an aluminum wire. All right. I stand corrected. There will be 3 materials, okay? This aluminum wire right here, I had to get in California because I can't seem to find it here in Texas. So if you guys can find it, it's just regular aluminum wire, okay? It will do you wonders. Do not use caustic solution when using aluminum wire, You already know why. Okay? There will be no aluminum wire left. You need the aluminum wire in matter form, okay? Because it's going to give off its electrons. And so basically what we're doing here is we're going to make a trinity wire, and we're going to have two negatives and a positive. All right? This is me going into polarities again, guys. Okay? Iron has a negative polarity in matter form. Okay? It's a taker. It's gravitational. It's an absorber. Okay? Aluminum is also a negative polarity metal. Okay? It gives away its electron freely. Also, number 13 on the periodic table of elements, I believe. Okay? And then we have copper, which is the positive polarity that we're doing here. So now you got two negatives, two different kinds of negatives. One's aluminum, one's iron, and then you have a third one, which is copper. Okay? If you want to do numbers, you can write down the atomic number, okay, of the periodic table, that single or double-digit number that's usually on the very top center on the periodic table. Okay? You can take all of those. Okay, I don't know what copper is. I think it's what, 22 or 23 or something like that. Okay. Remember, those are field interactions. So when you see the atomic number on your periodic table of elements, think of them as field interactions now. Okay. That's how many field interactions it takes of neutrinos. That's how many stacked neutrinos it takes to create the frequency of whatever element that is. All right? We're going to go with hydrogen, for instance. Okay? We're going to create the energy of hydrogen here, which is a replenishable source. Okay? We're using the power of 3. Okay? If we had the atomic number of aluminum, we had the atomic number of iron, okay, galvanized steel, okay, I think that's steel, yeah. Whatever the ingredients are in steel, okay, you combine the atomic numbers of those in order to get it. You add them all together, and then you take the atomic number here, and that's the total number of field interactions when you add all the atomic numbers up. That's the total number of field interactions that you're going to get when you nanocoat or put this into infinity. All right? When you turn these wires and twist them in accordance to infinity, they no longer become matter. They become light energy sources. And that's what we're working with here. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these 3 wires, and I'm just going to twist them together. Nothing special. I'm just going to twist them as tight as I can without breaking anything, because the aluminum is a little bit more brittle than the iron, okay, or the copper. So you got to pay attention to which one's a little bit more brittle. Okay. I put it into the center. Close it down. My left hand is my source end. Okay? You have to remember that your left hand is your source end if the right hand is doing the twisting. All right? This is how you get the left hand to talk to the right hand and have the perception of your eyes at the same time. Okay? I'm leaving a little bit of a tail here on the end. All right. Now, as you know, with any metal whatsoever, it heats up when you bend it, even aluminum, okay, at the slightest little bit. So now I have these 3 wires here. All right. I got you. Thank you, Pleiadians. Pleiadians? Yes, the Pleiadians are visiting tonight, gentlemen. You should be very proud and say thank you. They are the founders of the Hawaiian race. At any rate, this copper wire is going to come back and wrap around, go with the flow, okay? Like, follow the creases. That's what I mean by go with the flow here, guys, okay? Keep with the flow pattern. You're going to wrap the copper wire back down on itself, okay? I understand why now, because I'm going to go heat this on my stove, and I'm going to nano coat this. The melting temperature for copper and everything else is so much higher, but it doesn't take a whole lot of heat to get copper to be all the same temperature, all right? And so I use my stove, which is an induction stove, to nano coat things where I have bimetals in it, like aluminum, okay? You guys have seen that other device that I've got. You see that it's a Trinfinity and it's black and silver. Well, it's aluminum and copper, and the black is actually nano-coated copper that I did when all I did was set it on the burner on the stove. Okay, the aluminum has such a much higher melting temperature that it doesn't heat up like the copper does, and the copper got red hot. And then it turned black, and it nano-coated itself, okay? That method is not always the best method because it starts to produce, it's a powder, okay? After it cools off, it turns to a powder, and so it brushes off. I prefer the cold caustic method, but you know, I haven't done anything with the aluminum wire and the caustic yet, but I already know the outcome. But we can do like ash water, we can do activated charcoal, right? There are a lot of other things that we can do as far as nano coating. Or you can just trust in the universe that when you twisted these freaking wires so tight that it rearranged the atoms in the pattern that it's supposed to be because of the subatomic pressure that we have put. Okay, that's what twisting does, is it puts the subatomic pressure on it. When you put too much pressure, it breaks. All right, when you put just enough, it heats it up and it all becomes nano coated. For some of you energy viewers out there, you could probably see a little fuzz over the top of the surface of this. Okay, it looks like a little mirage. And sometimes the cameras play tricks on you or whatever because maybe I'm moving or shaking. But when you see these in person, okay, you'll be able to see that it's almost like it's hard to focus on it, right? Directly on it. You have to look away from it in order to truly see what's in front of it, okay? I don't know how else to explain it. I look a little bit, if I'm looking at it, I'm looking right where my fingernail is, all right? And then I can see right below that, I see a whole layer of like a mirage that rides over the top of this, all right? And that's how I can see or feel the sensation of this. That tells me this is already active. Just because I turned these wires in and made this infinity, and now I've got 2 different kinds of gravitational metals. So I have a gravitational core, okay, that's being wrapped by a positive energy and constantly circulating, because that's what infinity does. All right, that's why we bent the wires back in. But it's not just going this way. Remember, it's spinning, and it's following the path of that copper wire, and then it's going to go right back the other direction. And it's going to keep going back and forth like the little kit light on Knight Rider. All right? That's if you're able to slow down light and watch it move at about the speed of a marble rolling across the screen. Okay? I think that works right. But you'll be able to see it spin all the way around, and it's gathering all the excess electrons, okay, that the aluminum is giving off and the iron is taking. You see the potential difference that's created within this little wrap, right? Now, I don't know how many this one's going to make, but we're going to go with the flow here. I need slightly smaller pins. Perfect. This is one Trinfinity device that you can use. I used a feather. This was a connection to one of our favorite birds that got attacked and eaten by a possum. So, you know, my wife made it for him. All right. So now we're just going to bend this wire into as many same size loops. You can do different size loops if you want to, okay? But all we're doing is bending them evenly as possible. Okay. If you find yourself like this one where you can see that it's uneven, all right, just make the other one bend further over. Okay, you're just going to adjust it. And it gets really neat when you start to see how these become perfect circles. Okay? Because all we're doing is recreating infinity over and over and over. Infinity is the true circle. Okay? The switching point that causes this circle to continue to go is right where this two, where they match. Okay? That creates a small neutrino, or like a roadblock. Okay? It keeps all that energy trapped inside of here. All the four fundamental elements that are back up here. Okay? They're all trapped inside of that still, right? That's just the way creation is. Now remember, when you're making these, you see how this one right here rides over the top of this one? All right? It's sitting on top, physically sitting on top of the other wire. All right? That's what we're looking at here. Well, when we bend this back around, all right, because this wire is on top, it needs to be on the bottom next time, okay? This is how you get your spiraling snake, okay? So it's going to be on the bottom. So now you've got the 8, right? And it's set over under. You see it? We're just going to continue over under. Sometimes they work the way you want, and sometimes they get on your nerves. But you always want to maintain your proper intention, okay? And this one is going to do something very special for a power unit. It goes into the MagRabs or Infinity IQ devices or anything else that you can imagine that you want to plug into a damn wall. Okay? Put one of these devices in line. Put it in line with your damn alarm clock. Okay, put it in line with your freezer or your refrigerator or your dryer. Okay, treat it like a fuse. That's the secret here, and I've been saying it for years, and I just hadn't listened to myself, and I let bullies like Kesh tell me I was wrong when I know my own answer and I know my own truth. So now, in this one, how do we want to connect the ends? You have 2 aluminum and you have 2 iron. The aluminum is usually the one on the mag grab unit side, right? Where they want to touch the positive or the negative. To me, it would be the positive and it would be the negative side. So the aluminum side, all right, you can tell the difference by the lighter, softer wire, okay? So I want to connect the aluminum wire. All right, let's break this down here. Okay. Each wire has 2 ends, okay? 1 aluminum, 1 iron. When you put them together and they create your 4, you want 1 aluminum wire from one side to be attached to the iron side, okay? So you're going to see this aluminum wire attached to this iron wire here, and all I'm going to do is twist it. Okay, it's a lot easier to twist the aluminum around the galvanized. Note to self, stabbing. Where we need to report a stabbing. Okay, now the next one is going to do the same thing. Now, this thing is now in infinity, and it's got rabbit ears. Okay, it's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be rabbit ears, is what I'm being told. So we get to. You want me to twist that together? No? Yes. Make up your friggin' mind. It's going to come in from source this way. All right. It's telling me to leave it with a gap in it. Okay. We're going to leave it with a gap in it. All right. So now I've got these 2 stiff iron wires. These are the longer ones. All right. That are here. And then I've got the aluminum wire wrapped around it. And my higher self is telling me to, when I splice into this other wire, I just need to get another freaking multi-strand wire is what it's telling me to get. But anyway, we're going to take that, the source side, the side that we're going to cut that's closest to the plug, okay? It's got multi-strand copper wire, all right, that you're going to wrap around the opening here, All right, what's coming to mind is a miniature Jacob's ladder. All right, inside of this after you wrap it with the copper wire. All right, and this is not touching this copper wire. All right, this end will have to touch the copper wire when you attach another wire to it. So I'll kind of give you, if I can, let me go see if I can find multi-strand wire real quick, guys. All right, well, it's not multi-strand at the moment. You could see behind my computer screen, and you would see a big pile of boxes. Just going to show you what it's going to look like when we're done. When I say multi-strand, I'm talking like extension cord wire, speaker wire, all right, multiple really small strands, okay, usually found in your extension cords and things like that. So that's the wire that I am referring to at this point. I'm using this really big wire here so that you guys can see it. Okay. This is the positive end. That's the negative end of the plasma. Okay. This end, you're just going to wrap it around, just like, you know, multiple strands. Okay. And you're just going to keep it there. That's all you need it to do. All right. Plain copper. This one is going to get nano coated. I'm going to probably do a heat nano coating on it using a burner. Okay. I'm going to use a smaller gauge on the other side just because I want to show you. Universe, you better work with me. I'm losing patience. Okay. For this one, I'm using a little bit smaller gauge so that you guys can see that you need to wrap it. Okay. And all we're doing is, you know, I'm just going to put the copper wire going up the center. Okay. Work with me. That's my starting point. I don't know. Can you guys see it? All right. The copper wire is in the center between these two. All right. So I'm going to start that by wrapping it around and holding it in place. Okay. Do whatever it is that you want to be comfortable with. Okay. You're just creating a Faraday cage around the Jacob's ladder. This is all we're doing here. Okay. Now remember, there's multiple strands here, not just one. I'm just showing you what one wire is going to do. All right. There might be 60 strands here that you're doing. I don't know, whatever you guys add to it. That's part of your creativity, okay? I'm only going to tell you what one wire is doing, all right? You can imagine what 60 wires is going to do, all right? But now that combines this loop and I'm bending over the iron end here, okay? And you can do this with one strand, okay? Because I'm going to nano coat this whole thing. That's what I'm being told to do here. However, I do not like things that wiggle, all right? Because that kind of leaves a loose connection in some places and it will rub off the nano coating, all right? So I always try to make sure that my pieces are snug, all right? Use your tools, people. It will save your fingers. And a nice tight twist, okay? Anytime you have an excess wire that's sticking up or sticking out, okay? Bend it back into the circuit. This is a plasma circuit, okay? It's like wiring your whole house and completing it with a fuse box, and it's all sitting right here, and this is basically what it would look like if all the wires ran around the outside of your home, okay? Well, it's the same thing for your energy inside your body. So now, this is the way it should be looking. I picture, because I don't have it in my hands here, the multi-strand insulated wire. You're going to have maybe 3 inches of stripped off multi-strand, okay? And that's going to wrap around your pieces, all right? The rest of it's going to be insulated on here, okay? This particular one, I think I have a different purpose for, but when you're putting this in line, okay, again, this thing is still moving. If you twist too hard on this softer copper, it breaks. So if it breaks, then you're not supposed to have it. That's what I've learned. Anytime that you're making an infinity device and then you're using one wire, if it breaks, you have to start over. Okay? The whole idea of using one wire is because we are all one. All right? Everything functions together. And everything has the same energy. So when you're using infinity devices, you're harnessing the powers of the universe and you're bending light at will. So this is the end product, what it would look like after you have made it, okay? This is a device that I will probably sell to people, okay, in this format so that you can add it to your own shit, all right? And this is what I would suggest that you guys at home make and get them set up in these similar fashions. But of course, all of you are going to wait until, oh, Mike proves it to you. And what you're not going to understand is that Mike isn't going to prove it to you because Mike's just going to go plug his shit into his house. And I don't care if you guys believe or not that I am saving electricity or that I am eating or I am not eating. I don't care. I don't have anything to prove to you guys. All right? But I do know that it works. And that's why people want me to come talk with them and hang out, and because I could just tell you how everything works. And let me tell you, when you know just about how everything works, because it all works the same way, it's pretty fucking boring. All right, so don't be so eager to try and learn all this shit, because then there's nothing really left to ponder over except for what kind of trouble can we get into. All right. As with everything, you want to make sure that your intent is perfect when you're doing this. And so this whole time, and anybody else that's watching, when they do watch this, you're going to feel that thump in your chest, okay? And you know that that's me, okay? That's me reaching out and saying hi to your soul, all right, and checking in. And in the process, we have come to a time, I guess, where we're ready to release the simplicity of the devices. Okay? I don't know how well this is going to work yet, but I'm going to test it on my own shit. And I don't care about the results, because I'm so positive that this is working that I'm just going to make a video and give it to the world. And you guys can do what you want with this information. All right? When I travel around, I will probably be making these devices right here to give to people, as well as neck charms or whatever else that are in the same shape, so that I can pass on the light. And then I can talk about how it all works. All right? That's my job. And I can teach you my perception of how I figured out how to deal with my emotions, so that I can understand how this shit works. And if you don't understand your emotions, and if you're getting jealous like me when your significant other might be looking at the phone smiling at something, okay, then you don't have your emotions under control, because you don't understand why you're doing that. All right? Now, I'm going to set this one off to the side here. I'm going to pull this piece down. Of course. All right. So I've got about a 6-inch opening between the two wires. Okay. This is where a lot of people might go wrong. All right. I'm no different. But you see how I accidentally sliced into that wire? Sometimes that little spot right there, that's a bare copper wire that I just tapped into. Okay. Sometimes when we tap into that wire, all right, we're cutting into this stuff, will cause it to short out, because we went to go to wrap it together and we don't realize that we've exposed that copper wire. Okay? So it's very important that you guys see and pay attention that you're only cutting the plastic. All right? In this case, it's all right because it's right in the center. Okay? And I need to cut out a chunk. Okay? Yeah, this is on the hot wire. Okay? Remember I marked the hot wire with green? Okay? I need to cut out a chunk of this so I don't have any other wire that's exposed. I went and checked out this one. Okay? And there's no extra wire exposed here. I didn't tap into it on this side. I didn't tap into it over here. All right? It's just the green or the hot wire that I've got here. And I'm going to cut it and take out a section big enough to put this in it. Okay? I guess I don't need that other copper wire on there. Whoa. It's a really sharp knife. Really sharp. Paper cut. Alright, this is the multi-strand wire that I am talking about, people. Okay? Multiple strands, and they're tiny, and I think this one has like 30 or something like that in it. Okay? That's what this is. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. And this time, try not to cut my skin. Be very careful using this stuff. Anybody can do this stuff at home, guys. This is quantum physics, but it's not rocket science, all right? Rocket science is way freaking harder because they do everything to confuse you on purpose. Okay. Now, I am not going to twist the ends on this together. Okay, normally. Why did you shut off? Oh, okay. Is my screen big on yours? Okay. I'm not going to twist these together. I'm going to leave them individually on both sides. So when I connect these, I think what I did here is I just need to cut off the excess, or I think I'm creating a parallel loop here, honestly. Okay. Now, nice little paper cut on my thumb. In this case, all right, we have the source end is here. All right, this is where the power source is coming from on this side. So this wire closest to that end is the source wire. All right, that's the really long twisted end here. That's your source end. That's the one that goes in your left hand, right? And so we're going to take it and wrap it around this end. Okay? And then we're going to take this one and wrap it around this end. And evidently it does make a difference because I just made my fingers switch to the other side. Okay? So as I'm holding the feathered wires, oh my gosh. I hate add-ons. This would be the source end, okay? Left hand. This was the long end. Remember, it was sticking out. It had all the little wires on it, all right? Now, you've got the other end, okay? And so what we're going to do, when I put this one on here, it was behind it, all right? From your perception, you see it in front. All right, you have to put yourself in my shoes and look at it to where my finger, okay, is covering up. But on this side, if you look at me, all right, the wire went behind the unit. All right. The same thing goes here, but this one's going in front on this side. Okay. The other side, it went like this. And when I wrapped it, I had to go this way, the natural flow, right? This side, I've got to, because I went on the back side on this one, I have to go on the front side on this side. All right? In doing so, you're just going to wrap, do the same thing again. Okay? And connect it. Make it look pretty if you want to. You can do all sorts of things. Okay? Me, I like everything to be pretty because everything is pretty. Okay. So now, I have this. Okay. And this requires some electrical tape. The liquid tape isn't going to cut it for me today. Oh, here's my first one. Hello. Sure. I'm online. Are you? What would you like?
When you come to a stopping point, I need your finger. I need your hand. You
need my hand. Okay. Thank you. I'm almost done. Hold on, gentlemen. I must give up my hand. I'm getting mittens made for me in my cold atmosphere. My tailor is here. So what I'm being told right now in my little pause break here in the conversation I'm having with my pretty lady as she is touching my hand. In between here, you're going to put your 4 capacitors. Ta-da!
Sure, thank you.
In pair, though. Thank you, baby. Now, what's an infinity capacitor? That's the real question here. This is what it's telling me. Stack them. All right? Have some fun with this. At the moment, I'm pretty sure that it's not a good idea to touch these wires, you know, when it's plugged in. So let's see what it does. You ready? I like living dangerously. Are you scared? I ain't scared. What happens when you get zapped by electricity? You die, as they call it. Peace! I'm going up to the other world. I'll be back in a little while. Alright. We're just going to coil that up here. And I'm going to plug that into the wall. We're going to plug this unit in. Okay. Whoa. Ready to see some magic, Darren? All right. Here's the plug. Way the F over there. and give our unit some power. Just so you guys know, I freaking hate electricity. Okay? I hate regular electricity. I can't stand it. It doesn't like me too well, especially when you touch metal shit to things. All right. We have power to the unit. Okay. Do I need to load, or does it need to be on? There you go. Come on, wires. Ooh, I hate wires. We're going wireless, people. You hear me? We're going wireless. All right. All right. What the fuck? Fucking pissing me off. Yeah, I know you do. All right, look, I'm touching it, guys. Okay, it's absorbing. I am absorbing everything from this device right now. Okay. Okay. Fucking work with me. I will prevail. Going wireless, people. trying to give you an angle so that you can see the distance. I'm going straight on from the camera. Okay. This is a regular Bic lighter. They're what, 3 inches long? Okay. Try not to use the metal side. No, I keep absorbing it because I'm too damn close. So we got about a 3-inch field when I step back. Okay. That's how far the field goes all the way around this. Okay. Many of you are concerned about touching this. Okay. If you touch the ground while this is plugged into the wall, you are going to get fucked up if this is not nano-coated. I am wearing tennis shoes, I am sitting in a wooden box, and I am not touching any nails. Okay? And I have a plastic table sitting in front of me. Okay? That's me, vaping. I have this electric current running through my body, and it's keeping it from going into this device. Okay? Or it's feeding it. So it's no longer emanating the field, it's no longer being magnetical. This becomes gravitational like a vacuum. All right? And it's pulling all of the negative energy that is out of us. Okay? Because this is a dark energy generator. It runs off of dark energy, the nano coating. Okay? That's dark matter, dark energy. Okay? So it runs off of that. But in doing so, it's like building a Draco entity, pretty much, if you want to think about it. And it only feeds off of negative energy. So when you make it, it's only absorbing negative energy. Only. Now, what it's giving out is a positive array. That's the field. You can see how it stops when I get a little bit closer? That's because my body is interacting with it. And now it's making me, I should be able to, there we go. I don't know where that's going. It's deeping even further out. So, all right. So this is telling me I'm in the middle of my God space. All right. I am sitting here in the middle of my God space. Okay. That I've created with this device. None of it's coming out. My internet's messing up. None of the energy is leaving this device right now. Okay? None of it. Now it is. This is the infinity loop. Sorry. Okay? Could be this whole metered. I don't give a shit. It doesn't matter. It's all part of the same circuit. You can nitpick it if you want, guys, but it doesn't really matter. Okay? Okay? That field is giving. That's the magnetical field. When I hold on to this and it grounds it out, it becomes gravitational. Okay? It becomes a vacuum. It's not necessarily feeding me yet because I don't have any GANs in here, in these 4 posts. Okay? But if I keep holding on to this, I'm going to get really cold feeling inside, like bone cold feeling. And then I'm going to get really tired. Well, I've done this so much that I no longer get tired. It makes me stay up forever. Okay? Because there's no more negative energy, or very little plasmatic negative energy inside of my body. Okay? The more you have, the more tired you're going to be. Okay? Oh, come on. Zane will be joining us shortly. All right. So now you're seeing that this is giving and taking at the same time. That's what infinity does. Okay. And so that's what you're working with here. Like I said, this has got resin inside of it, fruit slices, my infinity coils that I make. I use the QuadCore method for making the center core. I've got all the pictures online for it. And when this works, I'll be able to recreate it. Okay. But this is what was plugged into my truck. Okay. The further I get away from this while I'm holding it, okay, I'm going to show you my God space. I'm not talking about my bed. Okay. See, I am inside my bubble. That's the edge of my bubble that I am in.
Nice. Nice.
Thank you, Zane. All right, now watch.
You're welcome, brother.
You hear it beeping?
Yeah. Nice, man.
You hear it pick up? That's how far my other bubble goes. I have 3 toroidal fields, and I can't reach the 3rd toroidal field. I'm only showing you the 2. All right? My first toroidal field is right there. Okay? My second toroidal field is right there. My third one is a little bit further than my arm, all right? And it would sound like a constant on, most likely. All right? Measure your toroidal fields, guys. You can just hold on to the unit, and when you hold on to it, it's green, or it doesn't turn on because it should be grounded, okay? You should be absorbing all of the energy that it's giving, all right? And it will be taking all of the energy that you don't need anymore. That's how these work, okay? I am in my God space here. This is like the apex of the pyramid without the pyramid. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right? That's the God space. I get to have fun with this, it's telling me. Thank you, Charlie. This is Charlie, guys. Okay? Stop beeping. Everything's beeping now. All right? So now you have understood what we're making here when it comes to these devices. All right. These are just extra pieces that I had put on here. All right. And I will end up using them I will be able to further, like I said, I believe I'm supposed to put these back out and put the capacitors in between here so that now the capacitors are in line, but they're going to be in the series capacitors. This is what it's telling me. You put 4 capacitors on here. You start at the source end, okay, which is this end. All right. You start at the source end, and it's this side. Then it goes to the other side, moves up, goes to this side, and you switch the polarities back and forth so that they're in series. Okay. So you have an in series set of capacitors that are in a parallel connection. That's what this is. All right. Now, for you guys that are into electronics and everything else, that's your answer. Okay. This by itself should be able to power just about any device you have. And I think tomorrow we're going to work on the capacitors for this. Okay. My suggestion for those of you, I will make up some tonight for my practice. Okay. Find many different sized like dowels or pens or things that you can put into your grill to make coils. All right, because we're going to make some coils, and you need different size coils, and they need to be concentric so that one coil can fit inside of the other, just like the mag grab unit, okay, that they have. But we're going to do this differently when we do this. So take away the preconceived notion of what the capacitors are supposed to look like or what they're looking like now. I have purposely not looked at anybody's capacitors or tried to follow anybody's work with the Keshe Foundation because they only know part of it, and I don't want to. They need to understand all of it in order to do that on their own. They have to be able to fail, okay, in order to learn on their own, okay. And a failure is not it's not anything bad. It's a learning experience. It just didn't work that time, okay. Well, everything with plasma, you don't have to throw it all away and scrap it. You just pick up where you left off, and you can take off a few pieces here and there, and you can replace them as you need them, okay. So tomorrow I will have some capacitors that we will build, all right, and we'll put into this. And I think this is actually going to replace the MagGrav units. Yeah, my energy says that it's going to replace the MagGrav units in simplicity, using the 3 different kinds of wires, using the capacitors that we're about to build. And it's all in line with the same unit, okay? This one is going back in my truck because this is Charlie, but I've got to do some serious rewiring and rerouting in my truck because when I was in California, I wanted to get home, and I did it as fast as possible, and I ended up running my the wire for the power inverter through the door. And when I did that, all I do is get rained on now. So when it's wet, I just get wet. So I've got to fix it, reroute it, you know, live and learn. Don't cut the metal on a truck to try and put wire in it unless it's under the hood or somewhere else. All right. So learn from my mistakes, guys. you know, go around, don't drink stuff. But I wanted to give you guys that, you know, that's what this stuff does. Okay? I don't just pipe it up. I know what I'm doing. I've got it here. It's sitting. It does all of this stuff. Okay? And we know what we want to do. Okay? And the stronger the fields, the faster the beat. Okay? So think about this. Right? Nothing. Slow. Fast. Right? When you get to the core or close to the metal, almost touching it, that's when it goes really fast, right? Really slow. Really fast. So I'm projecting my core energy out at least that far. Nope, can't reach any further than that. Okay. But now I'm back in my space. Nope. Not touching it. Nope, doesn't work. Nothing. You see I'm holding it. That's about it's about 8 foot over my head. Not 8 foot over my head, 8 foot from the ground up. There's about an 8 foot toroidal field or energy field that goes all the way up. Okay? This is what you guys have to look forward to in your lives. Okay? Learning to play with this stuff. And it's really fun if you want to learn a different way of living. Okay? Many of us out here in the world really dislike the way our government does things. And since we are sitting here in the presence of this light, okay, and in the presence of my light and Darren's light and Zane's light, okay, and anybody else that'll be watching this, I vow to change that.
Rock and roll.
I vow to change my government so that they will help rather than hurt. And it's my will. Here, let me touch my magic box. It's my will that everybody awakens and everybody sees the truth that is laid out before them. It is my will that they're not afraid, that they see it for what it is. it's my will that they get to experience joy and happiness just as much as everybody else does. And it is my will that they understand the laws of light and the laws of infinity and the rules of karma. Because from this day forward, those that wish harm on others will receive 100 times fold the gift that they tried to give to somebody else. And I invoke the law of the circle, or what goes around comes around, or better known as karma. And in my name, I pray, Michael, it is so, it is so, it is so. I just said a prayer. I just said a blessing. I said a spell. I said what else as they call them? You know, I said a sentence. I said a word. I said a bunch of words. Okay. I just rearranged my words in a certain pattern. I had certain feelings. That's where you get the pausing. Okay. I was invoking feeling inside of my chest at will while I was saying this blessing. Okay. That gives it the extra power. Right? Because I am the creator of infinity on this planet. Okay? Every infinity device out there is at my command and my intent and my will. You cannot do harm with these devices. Okay? If you wish harm, thank you. If you wish harm on somebody, you will not like the outcome because it's going to boomerang, or what I call the law of the circle. What goes around comes around. Okay? It's going to happen a lot faster. You know, and I saw a video yesterday that made me laugh my ass off, and it was two guys trying to break into something, okay, and he had two big rocks. And he threw the first rock, and his buddy had his back to the window, kind of like this board. And it was a bulletproof plexiglass or something. And then it literally ricocheted the rock off and hit his buddy in the back of the head. And he jumped forward about 3 feet and was knocked out. All right. Had no clue what was going on. He didn't even know what hit him. His buddy just knocked him out with this rock. All right. Well, not the smart guy that he is, he didn't realize he just knocked his buddy out, okay? So he picked up another rock and he threw it at the glass and it knocked him out right next to his buddy. And so both of them were laid out with these rocks laying out, I mean, these big rocks. And, you know, it was just that instant karma is here. That was the message that came to me was instant karma is here. So it would behoove you to be kind. All right? It would behoove you to reach your hand out and help somebody up rather than pointing your finger down at them. So if you want to be the change that you want to see in the world, then go out and be that fucking change, guys. Okay? Go grab somebody's hand who needs some food, who's out there freezing right now because it's so damn cold. Go help them. Okay? And here in a couple of hours, I believe that Carrie Kiristar from the 21st Century Superhumans is going to be stopping by this evening on her way back to Florida. And I don't know if she wants to do an interview or whatever, but I believe that we're going to go catch up on some old soul school teachings. All right? Because when I talk to that young lady, I'm talking to an angel. So if you guys don't know who she is, maybe you should check her out. And maybe you should support her in what she's doing because she's been driving around all over the United States and Canada teaching about infinity and plasma and light Okay, she's been holding the space and she's been running around this continent. Okay, and she's on her way to Costa Rica here very shortly. Okay, to keep spreading the love. Give her your support, give her your love, and if I can, I'll get online here and we can make a quick video or something that'll, you know, kind of tie us together and everybody can see our light. We really click, and I enjoy talking with her. I don't have to talk to her very long because it's like jumping into a conversation with an old friend. All right? She's very much so enlightened, and if you ever need any kind of advice, spiritually or otherwise, please contact her. Okay? I trust her with my soul. And if you know me at all, that means a lot. All right? So, in that sense, I'd like to close up shop here for the evening. It's about 8 o'clock. It's about right. And we'll get this one uploaded for you guys. And be wary of the curveball that's coming ahead. That's all I can say. I know there's a corner coming. And if you're not buckled in and if you're not aware of it, you're going to get slammed up against the glass. Okay? Pay attention. You'll see it a lot. Pay attention. There is a reason I'm able to show you this tonight. There is an absolute reason. And if you don't know what that reason is yet,
Thank you, Mike.
okay? If you don't know what that reason is yet, you better check your ascension symptoms. Stop beeping. Yeah, everything beeps. Thank you. Everything beeps. So, another safety precaution. This is not insulated. It's nano-coated because it is infinity and you've twisted it, okay? But your mind says that it is not because it's still shiny copper. So you're going to allow yourself to get zapped because of your fear, okay? That's why you can walk on fire and you can do all sorts of things like walk on water. Your fear of drowning keeps you from walking on water, okay? Your fear of getting wet or getting cold keeps you from walking on water. I don't know why walking on water comes to mind right now, but it does, all right? This is like not black nano-coated like this device, okay? This is insulated. Can you see it? This is what they call insulation. Let's see if I can do this right. Inside of that circle is all of those elements all the time. Okay, 2 positives, 2 negatives in every single one of these circles. All right, feeling pretty cool. But given my new information, I've got a whole bunch of these. Okay, and this one's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is the same as the 5-pointed star, the pentagram. Okay, and from the looks of this, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 field interactions. So that means that there are 6 wires in every one of these. Okay? So 6 wires times I'm not supposed to count it for you. That's what I'm being told. Okay? Don't count it. That's what it's telling me. Don't count me. The same thing happens. You put this in there, okay? Put it in line with your system. There's no different, okay? Put it in line. If you put 8, what do you think you're going to accomplish if you put 8 there, Zane?
Yes.
If you were to put 8 loops in place of here, okay, what do you think we would be accomplishing?
Double what we were to begin with.
okay, you're going to double it. But if you have 8 in a row, okay?
Did you hear me? Or did my...
I can hear you, but your answer is not correct. That's what I'm trying to tell you. If you have 8 of them, all right, and we're talking about field interactions, right? Go on the periodic table of elements. What is 8? Oxygen. Yeah, your phone is all dragging there, so that's why we can't hear you, man. Sorry. Yeah, bad connection. All right, so you got 8. If you made 8 of these and you put them in line with this, you would create oxygen. Okay? You put them in line here, you would create the energy of oxygen. The only way that you would get the energy of oxygen and not the energy of whatever 7 is. 6 is carbon, 7 is nitrogen. Okay? So you would get the power of nitrogen if you had 8 of these here, because there's only 7 that are completely enclosed. Okay? You have to have the end cap. You have to have the capstone on the pyramid in order for the pyramid to work right. Okay? So in light, 8 is oxygen for matter side. Okay? If you look at the periodic table of elements, the atomic number of 8 is oxygen. All right? In light, you have to add 1. Because the neutrino is 0 point. Okay? But it's not 0. It's 1 in light. It's 1 field interaction. Okay? Hydrogen is 2 neutrinos stacked to each other. That's what creates a hydrogen atom. It's 2 field interactions. Okay? Helium is 3. So now you've got helium, hydrogen, and a neutrino. Right? Well, hydrogen is in the middle. Okay? It's got 1 field interaction on one side and it has another field interaction on the other side. And so what happens is the magic in the middle lights the fuck up. And that's what happens. We say fuck you to the government. Okay? So that's the power of 3, people. The first one is take a piece of PVC that's big enough to put cue balls in. Okay? Put the PVC on the ground. Put your cue balls in there. The very first one that you put in, that's a neutrino. Okay? The second cue ball that you put inside of that and stack directly on top of that, that's the hydrogen one. Okay? You put a third one on top of it, that's the helium. Then you have lithium. Then you've got, I don't know what 5 is at the moment, carbon for 6. Then you've got nitrogen, and then oxygen, and then you have whatever 9 is. I don't even care, okay? But in order to get oxygen, you have to have the 9th one as the capstone. Okay? So that's the +1. So anytime that you want to recreate an element off of the periodic table of elements, you have to recreate the number of field interactions, which is the atomic number, and add 1. But guess what? If you're using a device like this, the entire circuit is the +1. So all you have to do is make it according to the periodic table of elements. You don't have to worry about the light. You don't have to worry about the +1. You don't have to do any of that kind of stuff. All right? I've already simplified it down. That's my job, to simplify it down. So we're going to utilize the materials that we already have in place in our scientific world, and that's the periodic table of elements that we have. All right? That's what I'm being told. I will be able to recreate, or somebody else has already done it at some point, I'm sure, that they will create the 4 actual tables of elements for the universe. Okay? And we'll go from there. Did you have a question? Anybody have any questions? All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop recording. I wish you guys the best of luck. All right, I have given you the keys of creation, as well as many other people on this planet. Okay, I'm just a cowboy from Texas. I don't give a shit about you and your family, all right, and what all your little details are in your life, all right? But I do love you, and I do care enough about you, okay, that I'm going to share this information with you. And enough sharing of this information is going to get the word out to the rest of the population and to the people, and you guys can be the very first ones to start this. Oil is going away.
Winner.
What's that?
Sounds like a winner.
Yep. Oil is going away. All right. Your cars are going to be converted. There's something here that is going to make this happen. And I know when Carrie gets here, I'm going to make her one of these for her unit. Okay. She's already got all sorts of components and things like that brought into it for her car unit. And it's going to be made the same way, very simply. All right, this one's taking a little bit longer to discuss because I was going slow. But I love you guys, and it really isn't that hard, and you can be creative. It looks complicated. There's no moving parts, and we'll go there. So I appreciate you guys. I love you. Namaste. Thank you, Darren. And thank you, Zane, and thank you, Felix, for stopping by this time. Okay?
No problem, brother. Thank you, Mike. Really appreciate you, brother. More than you can imagine.
Well, thank you very much, and I appreciate that. And at 8:08,